Hey, we're live! Woo!
What if it was like 100 people are watching and it went to 0 immediately?
They aren't dancing that much. Hey, who's ready to be bold today?
I am.
I don't think I can turn this down. I'm not tech savvy at this. Here we go. We're going to talk today, ladies and gentlemen, about being bold and how you can be bold in your business. And it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of energy today, friends.
I hope you're ready.
Hit that beat. Oh my gosh.
We worked really hard on this dance before.
What do we call this? It's like the knife.
Called the Be Bold.
We call it the Be Bold.
The Be Bold. Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm so happy that you're here. If you don't know, we are the Virtual Savvy team, and we talk every single week about how to launch, grow and scale your virtual assistant business. And I'm so excited because I am joined by the one, the only Miss Katie Day. She's right here.
You guys, so happy to be here. Abby, I enjoy going live with you because it means I just get to hang out with you.
I know, right? Katie Day and I live in the exact same city. And we need to hang out more in person. We really should just be doing this live stream together. But
hey, I was thinking about that. We've done 2 live streams together, not in the same room. I want you to make me a promise. The next time we go live together, let's do it from the same room.
I've taught my kids that whenever we do a pinky promise that we have to link pinkies and then we whisper, "It's the most powerful promise in the world."
Let's do it.
It's really cute and my 6-year-old does it.
Right here. Let's say it together, you and me.
It's the most powerful promise in the world. Okay, so we will go live next time together. Everybody, today we're talking about being bold in your business, and I'm really excited for this because this has kind of been a theme this entire year, is choosing boldness and talking about, hey, boldness is not the absence of fear, but doing something when fear is present. And we're going to dive into that today and get really practical about how do you be bold in these different circumstances, right? How can I be bold when I'm telling people about my business, or if I'm raising my prices, or whatever it may be that you're facing in your business right now? But here's what I want to do. I want to hear from you guys, first of all, and I want to hear, because we love to celebrate here at the Virtual Savvy, I want to hear a way that you have already chosen to be bold this year. What is something that you have done in 2021 that you have chosen to be bold? Let me know in the comments, because we want to celebrate you guys. And yeah, Katie, while they're going ahead and dropping their little celebrations down in the comments, why don't you give us a quick, intro to who you are and what you do here at the Virtual Savvy?
Absolutely. Well, before I do that, I'd like to shout out over 300 people who were very bold last week and bought the Savvy system. So they are launching their VA business. We are so proud of you. We've already seen you inside the Facebook community, and we're so pumped that you guys were bold enough to go ahead and say yes. I'm Katie Day. I'm the CMO at the Virtual Savvy. Thanks to Abby, who just gave me a job. Thanks, Abby. She's hired me. No my background is very wide and diverse. In my past life, I was a photographer, a graphic designer. I write comedy. I love performing and theater and art. So I'm just kind of all things nerdy and artsy.
I love it. And you do an amazing job. If you have seen the Virtual Savvy brand transform over the past year, most of that is the brainchild of Miss Katie Day. And she actually taught the branding course inside of Savvy Vault, and it's phenomenal. So you should all love her immediately. All right, let's look at how some of you guys have already done some really bold actions. Virginia has quit her 9-to-5 to focus on her business 100%. Woo! I love this. Christy says, I'm bold because I'm not afraid to apply for a job up that I really want, and I make it hard to say no. That's awesome. Elizabeth was bold by purchasing the Savvy system. Becky moved all the way across the country for no reason at all, except that I wanted to. I love that. I prepped for and nailed the discovery call for something I've never done before. This is so good, you guys. Reaching out to many businesses that I'm a VA, and how can I help them in their business? These are huge. Keep posting them, because I think seeing each other's bold actions definitely encourage. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to dive right in, because we want to share with you some of the ways that we have found, not just through our own actions, but some of our students, how they have chosen to be bold, and some ideas for you of how you can be bold in your businesses as well. So let's just do this thing. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Katie.
Yeah, I want to start with some, we're going to start with some preaching. We're going to start with some listen up, because before we move on to any of these ideas, we've got to nail down this first one. Okay.
Yes.
So let's show them here. This is extremely important. So we're talking about being bold in your business. It is almost impossible to be bold if you don't have any type of inner confidence or peace. So if you can't separate your own self-worth from your business, the rest of these tips are going to be extremely difficult to do, because it is going to require stepping out and obviously being bold. You are not your business. Listen to me. Who are you? Can you play some music? I'm going to make eye contact.
We need
Where's my camera? Which camera am I on? That one? You are not your business. You are a completely worthy and beautiful person. No matter what happens with clients, with finances, with weight gain, I threw that in for myself, with other people's businesses, the inner peace and confidence, work on this constantly every day, schedule it in. And we have some ideas of how to do that on the next slide, because we want this to be very practical.
Oh, next slide. Sorry, I'm not hitting my yes.
So here are my top 3 things that I find self-worth in outside of my business. Have a hobby. Find something that lights you up that is not your business. There was a time where photography felt very competitive. And anytime I was hanging out with other photographers, I felt like everybody was talking about lenses. Like, what lens? Oh, yeah, you have that lens? And I thought, oh, no, this is terribly upsetting. Like, if you're all in on photography, then what are you going to do when photography doesn't go well anymore? Or you lose that client. So we want to be well-rounded people, where our business is one of the things about us. It's not the thing that defines us. So Abby, do you have any hobbies outside of your business?
I do. I just started one this year, which is so funny, but I started weightlifting.
Yes.
And I'm so obsessed with it. And it's been one of the best things, I think, for even my confidence, just because we've talked about this a little bit, that I'm having to allow myself to be a beginner. I really stink at it. And I'm 7 months in, and now I'm oh, now I only kind of stink at it. And, I'm still really bad at it, but allowing myself to be a beginner and learning a new thing that's just totally outside of business has been super, super fun, for sure. What's your hobby? Do you have a hobby? What's your hobby? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, what lights you up outside of your biz? So yeah, I've got hobbies. I will randomly we're both Enneagram 7, so I'll just choose a 7 or I'll choose a hobby and care about it for a little while and then choose a different hobby. But I feel like I'm constantly exploring things outside of my business. I tried painting the other day. I just bought an e-course about how to be an abstract painter. I'm not going to sell that. Let's be honest. I mean, I'll think about it for a whole week. I'll be like, am I going to monetize this? Am I now a famous painter? And then I'll move on.
Am I now a famous painter? In this moment, am I now a famous painter?
Am I now a famous painter? Yeah. Oh, Virginia says baking.
Yeah.
I agree with all of these. Oh, genealogy. That's interesting. Okay. I like that. But yes, exploring things, traveling, hiking is my new thing. I've written down a ton of hikes I want to do in the area. But just things that make you feel alive, that have nothing to do with the pressure of your business.
100%.
Okay, so another one is have a true friend, meaning one who will remind you of your worth when you are doubting it. This could be your husband, this could be your partner. But those friends are wonderful to have. And maybe the flip side of that tip is if there are people in your life that kind of make you feel more negative, maybe rethink that. You don't have to go there. You can maybe, make like, what's Uncle Joey? Cut it out. You know what I'm saying?
That's almost choreographed. That was nice.
It's pretty good. It's gonna be a lot of choreography in this. And then,
I totally agree with that, guys. Like it's, I feel like the older I get, I've just always been such a people pleaser historically. I think it's like ingrained into me to just make sure everybody is okay with me all the time, and that I make everybody happy. And I think that it's okay that every once in a while you can just say no to people, and that's okay, and they can get over it if they're not feeding, like if they're impacting the other people in my life who I do care about their opinion, right? Like if I'm hanging around a person who makes me feel less of myself, and then I can't show up for my kids as good because of that, like what, right? Or for other things in my life, like my business is really important. So if I have someone in my life who's making me feel really bad about my business and something I'm excited about, maybe I just don't need to hang out with that person as much. And I feel like I've gotten a little less critical of myself for making those decisions over time than I used to be. Anybody else? Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of people mentioning this in the comments. It's hard to say no sometimes, quality over quantity. But another thing, I learned this once from someone who came on my podcast, is they said, if there's someone who kind of sucks the life out of the room, if there's someone who's always venting and the sky's always falling, they're very negative, a lot of times you can just listen to them say, oh, man, that sucks, but then don't participate.
Mm-hmm.
Because the funniest thing happens when you're not fueling it. Those people just tend to float away. She goes, they float away. It's not like you have to, we always think it has to be this like, hey, I need to talk to you. I've decided we're not hanging out anymore. Like, no, it's really not that dramatic. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a no. It's negative people don't really like to be around positive people.
So true.
Don't want to do it. So that's an option too. And then this one's, of course, really important to me and Abby, which is find a spiritual practice. So, prayer, meditation, journaling, practicing gratitude, but trying to connect to something, again, that's deeper than how do I feel today? How do I look today? What's my business doing today? We're all here for a purpose, a greater purpose, a reason. If you can tap into that, then a lot of these daily problems and stresses just aren't going to feel so dramatic.
So good. And if you've just joined us, we're talking about how to be bold in your business. And so the first thing is separate your self-worth from your business, right? Like just because something doesn't go well in your business, or the potential of something doesn't go well, right? You're like, oh, but what if I reach out to this person, and what if they, deny me or whatever? Well, that just because they reject something in your business offering, doesn't mean they reject you, right? It doesn't make it you any less of a person. And so these are just some like key ways that you can very practically separate your entire self-worth from your business.
Mm-hmm. And maybe just keep it as like a reference of, I'm feeling like I am my business today. Okay, we'll go back over these 3 lists and just kind of do a reset. We're not going to nail it every day, but if you practice this constantly, I promise it does get better, and rejection does not feel so personal.
Yes. So good. All right.
Number 2.
Oh, this is good.
Just a reminder, you are not your business.
You are not your business.
Screenshot it, save it to your phone, whatever you need to do.
Whatever you need to do. So good. All right. Oh, I love this one. This
yes.
is really, really good.
You want to talk about this? This is all Rob taught us about this. It's so good.
So we do this thing at the Virtual Savvy here where once a month we do a development day. So the whole team gets together, and for like a couple hours, we hang out and we'll do like a fun party, or we will really dive into like a core value, or we'll watch like some leadership training on something. And one of the very first ones we did was this rejection training. It was a guy's TED Talk, I think. And we went through it, and it was this guy. Oh, there's a link below. So you could go back and listen to it, but it was so funny. And it was this guy that literally like taught himself how to be rejection proof. And the way he did it was like by purposely trying to get rejected.
For
And
100 days.
yeah, for 100 days, he did something that he was like, people will say no to this. Like, I'm going to show up to a guy's door. I'm going to knock on a random guy's door with a soccer ball and ask if I can play soccer in his backyard. And like, I'm going, like, he
asked somebody to fly a plane, like things that people will like, they're not going to say yes to.
They're not going to say yes, but it was funny. And if you go and watch it, he like goes on and on. And like, the more things he asked, he realized that people started saying yes to him. Like, so like the guy with the soccer ball, like literally was like, yeah, sure. You can come play soccer in my backyard. Why not? And he's like, what, why are you saying yes to this? It's so ridiculous and whatever. And so what he found was that, is that acceptance is a numbers game, and that it's not always just a like, oh, this person has rejected my offer. Sometimes it's just not the right person, not the right time, not the right offer, not the right whatever. But if you literally just ask enough people, that people will say yes. And so that's kind of what he did. He was like, man, I could ask 10 people if I could play soccer in their backyard, and 9 of them are going to say no, but one of them is going to say yes. Okay, great. And so that's, I think that this is something that we can super, super apply to our business, because for me, and I mean, you could have literally the best offer in the world, even the best marketers in the world get told no, right? And most of us aren't natural marketers. I think less than 3% of people in the world have like that strength, like that, like natural marketing ability, right? And so marketing is a learned skill. And even the people with the natural marketing skill get rejected. And so after a while, you can start to actually document it. And I would encourage you and challenge you to do this, of like, okay, how many proposals do I need to send out to get a discovery call? You may have to send out 10 proposals to get 1 discovery call, right? And then you may have to do 5 discovery calls, 10 discovery calls to get 1 client. Well, when you do that, it becomes an actual numbers game. So every person that says no, it's like, ooh, yay, let me check. I'm that much closer to somebody saying yes, right? So yeah,
that's right. So this is a big thing in the writing community. So it's so, I mean, the percentage of getting published is so small. So they actually set out, I mean, you can actually, there's like printables available where it's like, I'm going after my 100 publishing rejections. I'm going after it. And my goal is to fill out all 100. And then wouldn't you know, most people, by the time they get to 67, or for some people it's 22 or 85, they don't make it through their list because they got accepted. Right. But what a different mindset going into it. And I think even Becky mentioned, she goes, I wonder if your goal is to get rejected, if you bring a whole different energy to the proposal, because you're not taking yourself as seriously. You're probably not as nervous. Like when you show up and you're just like, hey, can I play soccer in your backyard? The guy's probably kind of like, I'd kind of like to see where this goes. This seems kind of cool. And by the way, he did get to fly a plane.
Oh yeah, that was another one he got to do also.
You just never know. You just never know.
Yeah, I think it does. It takes the pressure out. Now, I mean, I don't think any of us are going to like try to be purposefully bad at proposals so we get our rejections, right? But that's the thing, is that the more you do something, naturally you get better at it as well, right? Practice makes perfect. And so you literally, if you practice your boldness, you'll actually get better at it. You'll get better at the proposals. You'll get better at the discovery calls. And so chalking it up to, man, that was a practice round, right? Like that was just first rejection because I need 10 of them to get 1 discovery call, right? Or whatever it may be. I think it's a totally different way of looking at this. Have any of you ever thought of this way? Let me know in the comments. Or is this like a shift? Like do you have issues with this? Like what's going through your brain right now as you hear this?
Yeah, Melanie says it changed your whole perspective. I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. I hadn't really heard it phrased this way, but I really do like it. And I think you said something really interesting just now, which is like, you can actually improve your boldness. We think being bold is like this inherited skill or this inherited trait, but I think it actually can be a skill that you can practice. You can get better at boldness. I actually used to be terrified to go on stage, but when, after years of improv, I don't even feel the nerves anymore. Like you can practice this.
100%. Yes. I love this. We have a brand new, we have a whole new blog post too on how to be more brave and confident in your business. It's a really, really good blog.
I love that blog post. It's like one of my faves we've ever done.
Yeah, so good. So keep posting in the comments, guys, because I want to know if this is like a shift for you. I think even, we here at the Virtual Savvy, we don't always like focus on it this way, but we know, okay, if we're gonna sell a new product or something, we can maybe convert 0.5% of our list or 1% of our list, right? And so, and this may be like things that you're doing for your clients too, of like setting realistic expectations for ourselves. Well, that means if you have 100 people on an email list, then maybe one person is going to say yes, right? And we focus on that. Okay, well, that's my conversion rate, right? But that literally means that 99 people said no. And that doesn't, and coming back to like your value, like that doesn't mean that what you created isn't awesome. It doesn't mean that you're not awesome and that your skill isn't worth it. It's literally just timing or whatever it may be. It just wasn't the right offer for them at that time.
Mm-hmm. And eventually you'll be so busy, you won't have time to count the no's anymore.
Exactly. Awesome. Okay. What do we got next?
Okay. So if you have taken my Savvy Vault course, you've heard this. If you saw my hot seat, you've heard this. If you have my Savvy Circle bonus webinar, you've heard this, but I'm going to say it again because someone needs to hear it. Make your brand personality specific, because you're not just trying to attract every single person on earth. You also want to repel the people who are not your people. We all know about the attracting part of branding. Nobody talks about the repelling. So I'm going to be really specific here. Because we even have a brand personality sheet that you fill out during the Savvy system. And, there'll be like two opposites. And so often, there's like a range of numbers in between. There's so often people just can't really decide. So they just pick the middle number. And guess what that means? It means your brand doesn't actually really have a personality. It just means you want to be extremely broad and extremely mass appealing. And what you're going to get is all kinds of clients. Some you don't like, some you do like, some that aren't your people, some that are, if you can be really specific when you fill out that sheet, be really specific about what you want to offer, what kind of client you want to work with, and who you don't want to work with. So my story here is Bridezilla's no thanks. When I started my photography business, my fear was I am kind of like I don't know if you picked up on it. I've got a lot of energy. I like to tell jokes. I sometimes have some sarcasm. I thought, what a nightmare for both of us, both me and the bride mutually, if I get like brides with absolutely no sense of humor that are all about the schedule, who are like, the green is sage green and it's supposed to be evergreen. And I'm like, do you want me to tell you a joke? No, you hate me. You hate me and I made your day worse. So I'm like, what can I do in my branding to make sure that my brides are my people? Because guess what? There's only 52 weeks in a year. I don't plan on shooting a wedding every weekend. According to weddings.forbes, there's 8 billion weddings a year. None of those were true things that I just said, but there's a lot of weddings a year. And I probably only need like 10 to 20. So do I need to attract 8 billion brides, or do I need to attract like 10 to 20 who will probably fall in love with each other, which is what eventually happens. It's because when you find your people, then you don't just have clients, you have like friends and fans, and it's a delight. So I can't stress this enough. So what did I do? So practically, my entire brand was like, essentially the copy and everything was like flirting with the bride. Like my business card said like, hey, good looking, can I take you a picture? And it was all kind of just this very casual, tongue in cheek. If a stuffy mother of the bride picked that up, she'd be like, no. And I'd go, fantastic. Like, I don't want to work with you either. This is the best case scenario. So my reminder is you do not need 100 people to say yes. For virtual assistants, you only need what, 4 to 7?
4, 5, 6, 7. You literally don't need many people to say yes. Most virtual assistants can replace their full-time income with 4 to 7 monthly reoccurring clients. So if you're only going to get 4 people, do you really want to be working with people that you're going to hate working with, right? Like if you are super like type A and you want everything super organized and perfect, do you want to work with somebody who's just kind of like, meh, here we go, all over the place, right? Like probably not. If you are like tongue in cheek and like let's tell jokes and be friends as I'm also your client, right? Like you're probably not going to want somebody who is like super like always professional, never smiles. Like you're going to want somebody who and aligns with your values too, right? Like if there's something that you really believe in business or something that you really don't believe in business. I know that even like there's people who like language, right? Like there's people who are like, I love the authenticity of like dropping the F-bomb in my branding and stuff like that. Like that's great. Like that's not the way I do that. So if we got somebody on my team that's like, I just want to answer every customer service email with the F-bomb, would be like, that's probably not a good fit here, right? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just, right. Like that's what good fit looks like. So do you want to be working with somebody who doesn't have that good fit? Well, if you're just trying to get 4 to 7 people, then like good for you for repelling some people, right? Like that's, yes. I think that's an awesome mindset shift too, of like, we actually want to get rejected sometimes because you want to be so specific on who you're looking for that it's just not going to be a good fit with some people.
Absolutely. And I'm going to hit this in like a more tidier way too. For BA business, this also means you don't have to offer every service in the world. Yeah. Don't offer things you don't like doing, because what's going to happen is if you're only offering services you love doing and you're only working with clients you love doing, then suddenly you have created a passion. And the next slide, hit it. When you're passionate, you can be bold because you have that drive, that enthusiasm, that courage, and that excitement. Yeah. Build something you're excited about and you will naturally be bold. Have you ever seen someone just like light up about something? I've seen it with people who are like, did you see this thing at Target? It was $10 and it's on sale for $1. And they're just like, and you're like, that seemed like a bold person. No, they're just genuinely so psyched. They're so psyched. And you are creating something that you can be psyched about. You have full control over it. So don't build something you don't care about. You have the power.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. When you're passionate, you can be bold because you have the drive, enthusiasm, courage, and excitement. Yeah. That passion is super contagious too. I think that, if you're offering services that you're not excited about, then that's going to come across in your discovery calls. And then people aren't going to be excited to work with you because, they're not getting that contagious like passion. I went to, where did we go? I feel like we walked into like, I don't know, like my husband had gotten into like skeet shooting or something. And we walked into this like store downtown. It was like a gun. I don't, that's not my world at all. I don't know anything about guns or whatever. And I walked into this store and this guy was just like so passionate about it. And he was talking about how he had like patented this stuff that like our military is using and this and that. And he had like done all this stuff and here's this thing. And by the end I was like, oh my gosh,
I love guns.
Yeah, I love guns. And then I walked out of there. I'm like,
walked out with 8 guns strapped to your body.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Guns on me. No, not at all. But like, I walked out. I was like, I still don't care about guns, but man, I was not bored in that conversation. No. Because he was just so incredibly passionate. And yes. So be the crazy gun guy. Don't
be a crazy gun guy. Her next slide says, be a crazy, I'm just kidding, don't move forward. That would have been amazing if I could have pulled that off. No, but I just want to like give you a comparison. Let's say I hadn't done that. Let's say I said, hey, first of all, this is a copywriting little extra thing. Let's say I phrased it like, Katie Day Photography is a all-inclusive, elegant general adjective, general adjective, mass appeal thing. We have all price ranges, we serve all people, and we love what we do. Versus I was like, hey, I'm Katie Day. I like French toast, beatboxing. Just kidding. That's Abby. We've become one person. 90s hip hop music, whatever. I'm these things. And then wouldn't you know what shows up in my emails? Like, I thought I was reading my own list of things. I feel the same way, blah, blah, blah. You end up getting this niche group of people. And then when you're giving your sales pitch to them, you're going like, I like to do it this way. I like to do it this way. Oh, and this one, when this happens, this is amazing. And they're like, cool, that all sounds great. Versus if you're like, how do you want to, whatever you want, whatever you don't look like an expert. You don't look like you have passion. You don't look like you even really know what you're doing. So be specific and then be excited about the thing you decided to be specific about.
Yeah. And you can do this. This is, one of the things in our Savvy System course is what we have you do this like brand personality chart, but you can do something similar on your own, right? Like find websites that you're like, oh my gosh, this totally speaks to me. Like I love the copy, or I love the colors, or I love the photos, or I love, like brand personality is one way that you can be you in your business. And the more you're able to be you in your business, the more you're going to be passionate about your business, right? And feel like, oh, I can be myself. I mean, that's like why so many of us started our businesses, so that we could do something we love. So create something you love. Don't create what you think everybody else wants. No, create what you want, and you will find the clients, because there are enough clients out there that are going to love you just for you, for your services, what you can offer.
Love it.
Love it. All right. Number 4. Are you guys liking this? I need some like heart. I need verbal affirmation.
That's your new thing during lives, and it makes me laugh so hard. But you were saying it during Business 5. You were like, I need verbal affirmation.
I need you to tell me that you love me.
Or I will not be okay. Back to slide 1, Abby.
My self-worth is not tied to your praise, but also let me know that you like this information.
Okay, so number 4, Abby, I would love for you to tell them some of your stories about how you put yourself out there beginning. 1, we have that personal outreach that anyone can have. You don't have to be a student.
Yes.
We can drop that in the link in the chat. So that's just essentially telling people, hey, I started a VA business, which sounds scarier than it is, because you have to be like, I need it.
We literally, here's the template to that. So I would say this is the first step for anyone. And guys, you don't have to wait until you have everything put together. Part of being bold is doing something even when you don't feel 100% ready. One of the sayings we say a lot here is go, set, ready, right? Like you're never going to feel 100% ready before you're ready to go. So we just go, and then the ready and the set will come with time. And so send this personal outreach template, even if you don't have all your stuff together, right? Even if that website isn't built, or you haven't completely decided on your brand name or your colors, or even entire list of services. Because what's going to happen is that if you can start getting that marketing ball rolling a little bit in the very beginning, then as it starts to catch on, then you'll like, it'll give you time. Because if you wait until you have everything perfect in your business, you're like, now I'm ready to start marketing. Well, it could still take another month or 60, 90 days for there really to be traction. So start that traction right from the beginning. And one of the best ways you can do that is this, if you go to virtualsavvy.com/swag, and there's a personal outreach template there. And this was literally like pretty much copy and paste. The very first thing I did in my business was that I just told people, hey, I'm starting a business, and it can be scary for sure. But the great thing is that it's mostly just an email template. So as long as you can like convince yourself to just press send, then you walk away from your computer and it's done, right? And done. And then you just walk away, close your eyes, and hit it. And that's it.
So true.
Download that template for sure. And then I love these other ones. Join Facebook groups and actually speak up. Guys, you guys have so much valuable information to share. You are experts in your own field, even if it's just in customer service or having an eye for marketing. Even if you're just starting out, so many of you do have expertise in something because it just comes naturally for you, right? It could be writing, it could be graphics, it could be just having like a good way with people, right? And so use your expertise and share your knowledge, because the more that you get involved in Facebook groups and you share your expertise and you go above and beyond in sharing that, the more people are going to see you as an expert. So make sure, like, speak up, even if it's just 5 minutes a day that you go and you choose 2 or 3 key Facebook groups to be a part of. Go, show up 100%, speak up, show your expertise, because it really, really does make a difference. And then networking events. Did you ever do any networking events, Katie?
I have, but I ended up being the photographer at a couple, and it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny to watch it happen as like a fly on the wall, because everyone's nervous. That's what I learned. I'm like, even the one who's being like the loudest and kind of the most outgoing, they're nervous laughing. Like, it's a nervous thing. Just because you're like, they seem extroverted doesn't mean they're not nervous. Like, everyone's nervous. That's why I said it'd be kind of interesting to say, all right, I don't want to do this, but I'm not leaving until, and then you make up your goal. Cause I don't know how big this thing could be. But I mean, didn't you say the first one you went to, you just like got a whole bunch of business cards and didn't go back?
Oh yeah, that's totally what I did. I was like, I'm just never going to show my face again here. So let me just introduce myself to as many people as I could. And then I was like, oh, can I have your business card? Great. And then I don't even know if I told people about what I did. I just followed up via email with what I did.
Yes.
I was like scared to like say it the first time. And that's okay, because I just followed up. And I actually ended up getting like 2 clients from that first event that I ever went to. So it can make a difference. And I will say that nervousness, that fear, it doesn't end. I literally, well, and it could be just because I'm out of practice, because I haven't been to live events in so freaking long. But like 2 weeks ago, I went to there was this like Good Morning Springfield. I live in Springfield, Missouri. And it was this event that, someone had invited me to. And I was like, I'm going to go. And I'm like, this is networking. Psh, I've got this. This is so great. And then I get there. I knew one person at the entire place. Well, first I walk in and I couldn't find that one person. And we've only ever met virtually. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I gonna know what she looks like in person? Like, what if she's 8'2" and I don't see her? Or what if I guess that would be obvious.
She's probably 8'2". She's probably not visible.
I'm like, I'm going to not see her. And then I was like, I need to like make a friend fast, so I have somebody to sit with. And it was like that. This is the stuff that's running through my mind. And then I finally, at the end, I found one person that was like, I do think if you do have somebody local to go with, that's also another like little like hack, is even just having somebody beside you that
wingman,
like a wingman, totally. And you can go, and then it's like, oh, I feel so much more at ease if I know one person. So if you know another business owner, like, go to a networking event with someone else, so they can be your wingman, and then you can talk them up, be like, oh, she's being modest. Like, no,
exactly. That is, if you're in Springfield, I will come be your wingman. This is my favorite thing to do. I'm like, have you met Abby? Did you know she was Forbes top 500 blah 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 Inc. magazine, blah 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 blah. Like, Abby's like, stop. Thank you.
Stop. Yes. So, but then I finally found this girl that I knew only virtually at the very end. And she's like, oh, awesome. I have someone I want to introduce you to. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm always up for meeting new people. And she's like, Abby, here's the mayor. And I'm like, hello, Sir Mayor of Springfield. I do the virtual assistants. I like your hair. And that was literally the whole conversation. Like,
and I totally know your name, and I most likely voted for you probably. What's your name?
Nope. That's basically entirely how the conversation went. And it wasn't great, guys. And so I just want to reassure you that, like, maybe that isn't very reassuring or hopeful.
No, because then you know what you do is you check off the rejection box.
Oh, rejected.
The mayor 99 left.
So now I have 99 mayors left to go.
I was gonna say, I think a mayor counts as 2, honestly.
Okay, good. He didn't reject me. He was very kind and nice, but had no idea. I couldn't explain virtual assistants to him, so it was fine. But like, it's okay to have these feelings. Like, you're not less bold. Like, I am still a bold person, even though I got nervous in front of the mayor. And, I think that sometimes I think we're just hard on ourselves sometimes, right? Like, we're just we're just hard on ourselves when we don't really need to be, because okay, so I might have made myself a fool in front of myself a little bit in front of the mayor. That's okay. He
That's
doesn't
just
really,
one thing about me.
he's already forgotten about me. It's really okay.
You think the mayor went to bed last night and was like, dang, that time, gosh, that girl, she was really nervous. I wish she would have explained that better.
No.
I just had like this mental image. So I'm going to give you guys in the chat a little inside joke. Chachi, who's our senior director of sales and technology, sometimes when Abby's presenting, he'll choose an out of context phrase to make an inspirational photo about. And it just occurred to me, I just saw it in my brain because I don't have Slack open because it's too distracting. But I want one now. I'm hanging on my own wall that's like, I am still a bold person, even though I got nervous in front of a mayor. I want it like sunset.
With like the cat hanging onto the shelf.
With the cat hanging on it. So Chachi, if you're listening, I would like to make that request.
Thank you.
I just have some really good poster sayings. We're going to sell it in the merch shop eventually.
Well, that'd be a really great idea. All right. What are some ways that you guys have put yourself out there? Because I think, these are just a few examples, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Like, here's something that I did specifically around marketing my business. That was a little scary, but I did it anyways, right? Like, I made that Facebook post. I did a live stream for the first time. I did a cold outreach to a dream client, or did that personal outreach template. Is there something that you have done to be bold in the way of marketing, in the way of putting yourself out there? I would love to hear that in the comments as well.
Maybe you chose to reject someone. Ooh, that's a bold. I've done that before. When you're like, I don't think this client's going to be good news. There's something in my gut that says bad news. And you go, thanks, but no thanks. And you're like, whoa, that was like reverse bold. That felt scary.
Right? Oh, so good though. That's one of the things we teach inside our course is how to fire a client. And that's, man, that there was a few years ago that I had to make a really, really hard decision in the business, and like one that was going to impact a lot of things. And I had this moment where I was like, I have to choose to do the scary thing. Like, in order to make a big impact, I'm going to have to develop tougher skin. And that's come with time, right? But I think that like doing the hard things really does get easier over time the more you just practice it. So like that first client you say no to or you fire is really, really hard, but eventually it gets easier. That first discovery call you do is just, you want to throw up beforehand, right? But then the 50th one you do, it gets easier, right? So just kind of like we were talking about in the beginning, like you have to allow yourself to be a beginner. And part of that is allowing that beginner nervousness to be there. And it's doing it anyways, even when you feel that nervousness. That's will probably go away with time, maybe not, but you get better at overcoming it, I think.
Absolutely. And actually, Abby, I'm reminded of the last time we went live together. We talked about criticism and critique.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the story I shared in that live was like, what if I post this video and someone in the comments calls me fat? And then someone did call me fat. And then I said, my biggest lesson was I was still alive after. So it's like, what if I get rejected? What if I send this outreach thing and they don't say yes? And then you read the no and you go, oh, okay, I didn't die. Like you do so much of, it didn't kill me though.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like, okay, well, my body was acting like it was a life and death situation, but it's really not. It's really going to be fine.
Yep. I have to do that. Like, and my husband will make fun of me sometimes because I will think worst case scenario, but it's almost like a form of protection, I think, because I'm like, no, I just think worst case scenario. And then if I'm still okay with it, then I can do the thing. This is probably really bad parenting advice, but I have this whole, like, if my kids are doing something that's like you want your kids to kind of do kind of dangerous things, but like not super you know, you don't want to be like hover helicopter parent where you don't let your kids do anything. Like, go climb on that big rock. It's fine. But then you don't want to also just be like, go climb that 100-foot tree. It's fine. Right. And so like, where is like the difference? And so I've had to put in the like, will they die? Like, that's like and I literally have to ask myself this, like, okay, my kid is climbing to the top of the jungle gym. If they fall, will they die? Most likely not. Okay, then I'm going to let them do it, right? And I think that like I have to sometimes go to the worst case scenario. So in your business, like, okay, if I reach out to that dream client and they totally like, what's the worst thing that could happen? They could reject me. Okay, so what if they reject you? Then what? Okay, that's going to really stink. And that's somebody I really looked up to. And man, it stinks that that's their impression of me now. But I guess there are other clients out there, right? Like I'm still alive. It passed the will I die test. So that's good. Right.
That's so true. And it's just, like you said, it's a numbers game. If you have only been rejected twice, both of those are going to feel really impactful. If you've been rejected 100 times, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah. Moving on.
I know. I was going to put up some of these. Tanya says, got the opportunity to join a networking group with really accomplished women. I knew it would be an amazing experience, so I accepted. I will fight imposter syndrome. Yep, just go. Just go. Congrats. That's an amazing way to be bold. Virginia, I attended a business coaching presentation as a guest of a friend, even though it was not for me. It was a great practice meeting new people and speaking about what I do. Connections are everywhere. And then Christy said, I sent a very honest email to a close friend and family about my why, letting them know about my business. To me, that was harder than sending the notice out to acquaintances. Yeah, telling the people you love sometimes can be harder than acquaintances. Being vulnerable with those closest to me is super difficult because I always want to come across as a strong one. I claim bold on this because it was a very high anxiety to do, but I made the step. So good. I love these guys choosing boldness.
Yes.
Let's keep going. Number 5.
Okay, this is optional, but I want to encourage you, if this appeals to you, put your face on it. Yeah. It's great to show up in your socials and your reels and your stories to actually be the voice, be an expert on your subject and actually own it. I just want to let you know that I really do want to see your face. I think that people have a moment before, it's like that, what's the joke? It's like, selfie, sorry, feeling cute, might delete later. Like, it's always like an apology when you post a selfie. But when I'm looking at selfies, I don't ever think like, oh, I wish I wasn't looking at Abby. Like, I'm like, oh, good, I like Abby. There she is. You look cute. Like, it's, unless it's a garbage person, like, we want to see you. That's why we follow you. So don't be afraid to show up.
Let's be real. Even garbage people, we love looking at their photos too.
No, I mean, a garbage person looks at selfies and goes, why would you post that?
Unless that I was going to say, even.
I especially want to look at garbage people. Come on. My hobby.
It's like all of reality TV.
You asked my hobby earlier. I forgot to mention that one.
And The Bachelorette. No, I so agree with this. So that's one of the things, we talk a little bit about branding and in the Savvy system. And we teach like, hey, you don't have to do this, but we do encourage you to, like, if your profile picture on your personal page, right? You don't have to make your Facebook profile public, but listen to this. If you make your image, a nice clear image where you can see your face, right? If you do that, then when you're interacting in Facebook groups, because pretty much most Facebook groups, you can join as like a group now, but a lot of groups won't allow it. So you're interacting with your personal profile. So your profile could be completely private, but when you're interacting, literally just that little bubble where someone can super clearly see your face, I think it can make a really big difference because somebody's face, it adds personality and it adds like an instant connection. That's why we encourage you guys to do, if you're going to send a proposal to somebody, or even if you're answering questions inside of a Facebook group, man, consider shooting a Loom video. That's LOOM, loom.com. You can do a screen recording, but where it also shows your face in the corner, and just that personal element, there's something that connects you to somebody by seeing their face. There's something, it's like if somebody else sneezes, you need to sneeze, right? If somebody else smiles, you like instantly want to smile. And when you see somebody else's face smiling, then you're like, I'm smiling too, and I don't even know why. I must like this person, right? Like there's got to be some psychology behind it somewhere. But it really does, I think, make a difference. So if you're comfortable with it, man, be bold. Show your face on your profile, show it on your website. Even, and you don't have to do, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a professional photo shoot. Most of our phones now shoot in like ridiculous quality. So literally like get your hair cute and stand in front of a window. That's all you have to do, and get like one or two like just nice clear photos of your face. It can make a big difference. Again, you don't have to do it, but I think that it can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I love this. Tanya saying, I could spot Christy in a crowd. And why is that? It's like Christy's picture is like so clear. Here's Christy's picture. Oh, look at her. She's so pretty. But like, it's like, okay, like I could recognize you out in a crowd now because I've seen your face, and she's engaged. She's so engaged in like our Facebook group and different things like that, that it's like, oh, like there's an instant, you almost feel connected to a person just because you've seen their face and you've heard their words, even if it's like typing, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of power in doing that, and doing that consistently in the places where your clients are hanging out, like Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups.
Abby, your face is all up on our marketing. Was that difficult at first?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's always going to be insecurity. It's funny, even over time, like I did photo shoots way back in the day. Like I think my first photo shoot was in like 2016, right? For my business. I'm like, I'm going to get a professional photo shoot. And I had like the blazer and everything, like so professional. And I remember going through the photos, and the photographer probably sent me like 100 photos. And I was like, I will use these 3. Like, and that was it. And I was like thinner and younger and all this stuff now. And now a photographer will send me pictures, and I'm like, yeah, you can use any of them. They're good.
Whatever. I don't care. It's so true.
It's so true. Over time, it's just kind of like, yeah, it's fine, because I almost think that people can connect with me a little more if I don't look perfect in pictures. So yeah, use whatever you want, marketing team. It's fine.
You heard that, Courtney. Use that one you were worried about.
Okay, now I'm scared. Don't do it.
Super low cut in the thong that she didn't know we had.
That's the
one. Post it. She don't care.
Post it. Does this scare you guys? Like, have you done this already? Is this something that's scary for you? Let me know in the comments if this is something that you've done, or if you're like, oh, I don't think so. Maybe not. On it. That's Courtney. Commenting as a virtual savvy. She's great. I'm so excited.
We're really taking the branding in a new direction. We're going to be bold. Okay, so this last one, before we kind of conclude here, and this is regarding taking the leap. And that leap we're talking about is that moment when you have replaced your income. You've actually achieved the goal you wanted to with your business. Mm-hmm. Are you going to actually quit the paycheck? So a lot of our students identify with this moment, this feeling. A lot of people who work on the Virtual Savvy used to be freelancers, and all can kind of feel this moment. So my own personal experience was, I set a financial goal for how many weddings I would need to shoot in order to feel secure. And then I paused. I hit that number, and I still didn't quit. And then I hit I think I needed 20 to quit and feel okay. And then I got like 25, and I was like, I'm still not quitting. And then I got like 30. And then I felt like that kind of like was a spiritual moment. There's a story in the Bible actually about manna, which is like, you have enough to eat for today. Are you going to trust that you're going to have enough to eat for tomorrow? And I think, there's an argument on both sides. Well, yes, of course, I'm going to trust, but also I want to be smart. So I think there's this perfect middle where it's like, I have a financial goal. I have achieved it. And also I'm going to actually believe that this is going to keep growing and keep blossoming, and that I will have manna for tomorrow if I quit today. And it's scary. I mean, that was probably, looking back over my life, that was probably one of the boldest moves, was putting in the 2 weeks. And I think the part that made me feel the best was my creative director at the time. He goes, He goes, dang it. So it's today. And he said, I knew it was coming. I didn't know it was going to be today, but I knew it was coming. And it felt really justifying because he'd seen the hard work I'd put in. You know, I'd taken his family photos at this point. But it is scary. It's scary to give up the paycheck.
Yeah, 100%. I think that I think that, like, just like what you said, there's an element, it's both a like logic and feelings part of it, and you need both there. I think that you need the logical, like, let's make sure, like, let's be wise about it, and you know, especially if you're the sole income provider for your family, like, make sure you have enough clients, make sure you have an emergency fund. We talk a lot about that you know, having a good 3 or 4 months of like, what if all my clients went away, or like I broke my wrist and I couldn't do any work? Well, let's have 3 or 4 months where you have, where like, I'm going to be okay. Right. Especially like losing one client, which is what's another thing that's great about virtual assistants is like, okay, you have 5 clients total and you lose one, you didn't lose all your income. But if you have 3 or 4 months of like enough money that covers 5 clients worth of income, right? Then that's really like, okay, I can do this. So there's the logical part, but then there's also the actual like feelings part of this, where it's like, I have to also believe that if I lose a client, I am smart enough, I am capable enough, I am a good enough marketer that I can go out and get another one, right? And so I think it takes both sides. And so, you know, whichever side that you lean on struggling with more, is it the practical side of like, some of us are like, I'm going to quit my job. And you're like, cool. When? You're like, when I have enough money. How much is enough money? I don't know. Like, we don't know the number. Like, no, like, make a plan, come out and say like, all right, I want to have $10,000 in the bank and I'm working a full-time job. So everything I make freelancing is just going to go into the savings. Boom, 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 boom. And once you hit that number, you're there, right? And logic will tell you you're there. You can do this now. And then if you're the other side, or maybe it's a combo of both, you also need to be working on the feelings element of this, of whether it's like affirmations or whether it is like journaling. Like, I have to journal out my fears and why I don't feel certain things, and then tell truth to those things, right? Maybe it is an element of faith, whatever it may be for you. Like, you need to focus on whichever one is harder for you, I think.
I think that's great. And I was going to bring back your point about playing out the worst case scenario. This actually is a helpful tool because sometimes you're making up a worst case scenario that would never actually happen. So like, and we could go really worst case if we want. Like, okay, it's been so long, the financial or the emergency fund's gone. It's like, and now I'm going to live on the streets. It's like, are you? Think about it. Are you actually going to live? You have a family that loves you. You have parents in the same city. You think your family and your kids are going to live on the street if a client leaves you, and you have to go, okay, no. So the actual probably worst case scenario is I'd have to like hang out in my parents' basement for a month while I get a new lease. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that would be inconvenient, but it's not the street, you know? So really play that out and tell yourself the actual truth and not just what, you know, some movie memory has left you with as the worst case scenario.
Right. 100%. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. So, how can you take one bold step? And I love this because we broke it down into launch, grow, and scale. So if you don't know, here at the Virtual Savvy, we teach people how to become virtual assistants. Ding. And so, and so what we usually do is we talk about it in 3 phases. Phase 1 is launch. This is when you are, you know, I found out what virtual assistance is. Let me choose on my services. Let me choose my rate. Let me start putting the things in place to start marketing, right? Maybe you even get that first client and that switches you over into the grow phase. That's kind of like the trigger. I have my first client. Now I'm focusing really on marketing, right? Let me grow that client base. And then you're in the grow phase. And so, and one thing that you can do even then is continuing to raise your rate with every new client, which is something that we encourage you to do, right? As your experience grows, your rate should be growing as well. And then you move to that scale phase, which is, man, I really sold out on my services, but now maybe it's time to introduce a really high-end service, or maybe it's time to start scaling a team. So something that you can do in each one of these phases. And where are you guys?
Today.
Huh?
I want them to do it today.
Today, like literally today. Okay. So Who's launch? Let me know in the comments if you're launch. Like you're like, I don't have a client yet. I'm still putting the building blocks in place for my business. Let me know in the comments which one. So if you are in the launch phase, here's what we want you to do. Katie?
Tell one person about your business.
Just one.
Today.
Can you do it? Let me know in the comments. If you need a template, we have our personal outreach template here at thevirtualsavvy.com/swag. There's like a million resources there for you guys, but one of them is the personal outreach template. You can download that, you can use that, or you can literally just like tell your mom. It's fine. Just tell somebody about your business. It gets easier the more people you tell, but tell one person. Who's going to do it? Let me know in the comments if you're gonna. All right. So if you're in the grow phase, right?
Your new price. Decide it. Don't quit calculating. Quit second guessing it. Decide it and announce it, and suddenly it's real.
Yep. You are that could be that you switch it on your portfolio. It could be that you like announce your services and just mention like my prices start at, it was $25 and now it's $30 an hour, right? And like you make a post about it. It could be that you go live and talk about your services. It could be that you change it on your website. But if that is where you're at, that's the step that we want you to take
today.
Look at this action. I'm on the launch phase and I'm going to send out 2 job proposals. Boom.
What?
Now you are. That's amazing. All right. And then if you're on the
phase, this is actually, I love this one because it's being bold in like a different way. So Abby, speak to this because I know you've done it.
Yeah. So when you have built your business, it becomes, I mean, literally like my business is my 3rd child, my 4th, if you count my husband. My business is my 3rd child and it is my baby, right? It's like what you've worked so hard to achieve. But one of the things that can happen if you're in that scale phase is you start working so much in your business that you're like, wait, I did this so I could like have freedom and flexibility. And now I can't even take a vacation because I'm so tied to my business, right? And so this is in scale phase is when we start working toward really getting that freedom back. It's like you have freedom when you first start, and then sometimes you can get a little tied to it, and then you have to like regain that freedom. And one of the best ways to do that is through high-end services and or subcontracting. So, start thinking through what is one thing that I could outsource in my business. And you can outsource to a person or to a tool, honestly. And I'm not talking like a tool, like a person that is a tool. I'm talking like an actual tool. So like I've been sending out a physical contract. Well, I could sign up for Dubsado that sends out contracts for me, right? But I would really, really challenge you if you've thought about outsourcing to a team, even if it's not, I'm going to sign on a full-time subcontractor. Is there one project? Like, is there just one thing that you're like, man, I am spending too much time on trying to fix my website myself. I'm just going to hire somebody else to do it. Right.
Like, probably are spending too much time on your website trying to fix that one thing.
Probably that is happening. Because that's
all did it.
Oh my gosh, have I done that so much? It's so funny. Like the day I realized that I am not that great at graphics was a really like amazing day. Cause it's just like, and somebody else could do this. And her name is Katie and they do it so much better than me. Why did I ever think I was like good at this?
Oh, mine, I could kick myself because there was so many services that would edit my photos for me. And I never did it because I was such a control freak about it. And one time, because I was like giving birth and I didn't edit in time, and it was like a true emergency, I like sent a tutorial of my style. They sent me back my images. If you had thrown my edits in with their edits, I could not have pulled them apart. And I'm like, I spent so much of my time that I could have been marketing or out shooting or teaching, anything. I was sitting there doing the tiniest tweaks over and over and over again that literally anyone could do. It was completely teachable. So outsource the thing that's teachable and do the thing that only you can do.
Ooh, so good. So good. Yay, Teresa. This was so me with my website and I outsourced it. Woo!
That is bold. Like we don't think of that being a bold move, but it's so bold.
It is. I think just acknowledging sometimes that we're not good at everything is a bold move.
It is.
So much pressure. It's like, I have to be good at all of this. No, you're not going to be good at the numbers and the graphics and the website and the tech and the marketing and all the things. And in the beginning, you might have to like patchwork together, which is why we say action over perfection, is because it's like, man, sometimes you just have to launch an imperfect product and you have to be like, here's my website because it's what I can afford right now and it's fine. And when I have the money, I will pay someone to do a better one, right? Right. And so launch an imperfect product. But sometimes it is when you do have the finances, when you have some clients coming in to be like, you know what, like I can pay somebody else to do my editing or to, to schedule these graphics or to do something for my own business, right? Like maybe it's not doing some of your client work. Maybe it's just things that you want to happen for your own business. And you're like, I can outsource this to somebody. And it is incredibly freeing.
So scale phase, do it today.
All right. Do you guys have your action item?
All right.
You got to do it.
Send it. I don't know if you're a Facebooker or an Instagrammer, but if you message in, I want to hear about it.
Yeah, you can tag us at the Virtual Savvy on Instagram when you take that action, and we'll share it.
Yep.
For the world to see. That
way. We got another quote here. It's pretty good. It's a good one.
All right.
You want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Go for it.
Should I read it in my very theatrical voice?
Yes, please.
Your ability to realize your potential will depend on your willingness to hone your skills, to take bold risks, and to put your ego on the line in pursuit of something greater. Mic drop.
So good.
And if you want to hone your skills, we have a Savvy Vault for that.
That's such ding, ding. That's like we're marketing now. Ding.
We can't not market.
So yeah, I really like this though, because your ability to realize your potential will depend on your willingness to hone your skills, to take bold risks, and to put your ego on the line in pursuit of something greater. And I think, I know, just speaking for myself, sometimes my insecurity is actually my ego. Like, it's like, I don't, oh, I'm so insecure about going live, or I'm so insecure about my pricing or whatever. Like, I'm insecure about going live. Well, no, it's actually your ego is getting in the way, Abby, because you care too much what people think about you.
Right. You want to be liked. You want people to think you're pretty. You want to sound articulate. You want to sound smart. It's like, okay, just check that for a second and just do the thing.
Just do the thing.
Do the dang thing.
It's hard. But yes, talking about the skills, right? Hone your skills. Savvy Vault.
It's amazing.
Tons and tons of skill trainings right there.
Open year round, and I teach on it. So does Abby. I just want to share this because it's poetry.
Sometimes your ego is not your amigo. On a shirt.
That's now a shirt. Okay, so then I opened us up to this. I'm sorry. If you see the next slide, it felt fitting for
I love it.
She didn't know we were going to do this. It felt fitting for the theme. We have been making Abby do these at the end of each live, and I'm the one that makes them for her.
Yeah, so if you've ever wondered who makes Abby do the embarrassing things at every live stream, it's Miss Katie Day. So thank her. Right there.
Okay, so Courtney's gonna drop it in the chat. I have not read this. So here's the Be Bold challenge.
Okay.
Sing bop, but make it bold and beatbox. So the lyrics are bold, ba-do bold, ba-do bold.
I don't know if I can do that.
Oh, that's really good. Okay.
Okay. Well, I've realized when we were live, if we sing at the same time,
I know it's a disaster.
It's a disaster. So should we do that or should we not do that?
How about this? How about you beatbox us in? I'll do the lyrics and you beatbox us out.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. I don't know. It's not going to go with. I only can do like one beatbox tune. So.
bold, 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 yeah,
Yeah. I'm laughing too hard.
I think we can all agree that that was a great choice. Hey, you guys, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify,
We can do that. You can send your proposal.
Yes, if we can do whatever that was.
Whatever that was.
Thank you, Courtney. That was good.
That's really great. All right. Thank you guys so much. Maybe I know we had somebody joining us here that this was like the first time that had ever even encountered the virtual savvy. I just want to apologize ahead of time for what you just encountered. But really, if you're just getting started in starting your business, then download our free checklist and starter kit. It is the best way to get started. It literally teaches you step by step what to do to launch your business. It's an incredible resource. We have tons of resources over at thevirtualsavvy.com. You will find blog post after blog post that just really goes into, why we love virtual assistants and some ways that you can choose your services, set your rate, all the things. So make sure that you check that out. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. Have a good one.